us this evening. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. We did an instant reaction to Florida State's loss against Pittsburgh right after the game on Saturday evening. You guys can go check that out. We gave our raw takes on that, so we've had a little bit of time to think about it, but just not even a close game there in Doak Campbell Stadium. But we're here. We're enjoying the week. Basketball is coming up soon. We still got some football to talk about, transfers, guys opting out, big-time player actually leaving the program. And we'll discuss more because on our side of things, we expect more transfers to happen. But before we jump into everything, let me introduce our usual co-host. We got everybody coming in. Dustin will be here in a few minutes. But up here with me, Nate Greer, our lead recruiting insider. He's had a busy week. Austin Veazey has also had a very busy week. Basketball is nearing, so he's our lead basketball writer. He's going to start kicking up stuff here really soon, and already is. And then Carlos Williams, 2013 national champion, no big deal. Got the rings to prove it. But what's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, fellas?
Watching some Thursday night football.
That's the thing with recording. I got to start putting on a screen over here so I can watch. I don't get to see it. I don't get to watch it like I usually do. My DraftKings is going to fall apart. Nate, is the mic going to be good for you up there? Are we feeling good about this mic? No, we're not feeling good about Nate's mic.
I mean, you hear me?
Kind of. We can kind of hear you.
Well, can you hear me now?
Tiny bit. Maybe try to work with that other headset for the time being. Maybe for at least the time being. Dustin's going to be joining us here in just a little bit. He is simping to his lady. So, meanwhile, though, he's tweeting while we're live, though. So that's interesting how that works. He can't get in here. Oh, there he is. But, yeah, how's y'all's week so far? How'd y'all's weekend go? My weeks are going really well to start off because the Steelers are still undefeated, and I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling phenomenal.
Until that COVID comes in.
Now we can hear you. Shut up and shut up.
Yep.
But yeah, how's y'all's week going?
Perfect. Week's been smooth. I mean, work slowed down because of the rain, but we'll start back up on Monday, so I got an extended weekend.
Okay.
I've had an uneventful week.
Yeah. Yeah. You've had nothing that's really happened, right? Nobody's after you. Nobody's coming to run hands with you on Twitter, right?
Nah.
I heard you were trying for a boxing match.
Yeah, no one trying to scrap. You know,
Give them old push-ups, man.
I got you.
Yeah, y'all made a bet, right? What was the bet?
Notre Dame beat Clemson by 7 and not 3. I'm old push-ups. Memory like an elephant, Nate.
Nate, when do you want to do those push-ups?
When my back starts flaring up.
He got back spasm.
Hey, do you have a little violin?
Nah, man.
You have a little violin you can play?
Yeah. I got that, I gotta change my tampon before I do it.
Oh man, hey, at least you admitted it. But yeah,
Get you on that Girls on Game Day podcast.
Hey, shout out to the ladies, man. Looking at their numbers right now, they are rolling. We got to get them on here for a guest here in a few weeks. But if you haven't yet, go check out Girls on Game Day. They just released their podcast on Wednesday. They have a new one coming out tomorrow. They're grinding, man, and they have a lot of guests coming up. I think hopefully Freddie Stevenson's going to be their first guest on the 3rd episode, but they're killing it. Check it out. Girls on Game Day on all podcast platforms. But for this one, we get to talk about some really fun stuff. Florida State football. Who's excited? I am so
Absolutely no one.
I am so excited. Austin.
I'm excited. There's only 4 weeks left.
Yeah. I'm on PCP, so that's why I'm excited. So I'm not on PCP. That might ruin my future job endeavors. But Florida State loses to Pittsburgh. We'll kind of note on that just a little bit, but I think the main conversation moving forward, you guys can actually go just listen to that instant reaction. There's no reason to really harp on it anymore. You guys know what happened. Boom, you get it. Go back to the instant reaction. Let's jump straight into the big hitters of the week. This thing is meaty. We got a lot of football, basketball, We got our NC State predictions at the end. First off, James Blackman is going to opt out for the remainder of the season. Not really entirely a surprise to anybody. Surprised maybe it didn't come earlier in the season, but he does intend on transferring. So the Blackman Hive, Slim Reaper, Slim Slinger, James Blackman is no longer going to be with the team. Thoughts?
I feel bad for the kid. He got thrown in some really messy situations, and he really did seem to love Florida State. It just didn't work out, and at the end, I mean, he gave Florida State everything he had in him, and you can't really ask for more, even if it didn't work out.
I agree, but I can't say he was thrown in bad situations. I mean, as far as coaching changes, that's one. But being thrown in the fire, like after Frenchie got hurt, it happens. Like that happens.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying four different offensive coordinators.
Yeah, offensive coordinators, head coaches, systems change, and I mean, watching Blackman was like watching EJ play in the NFL. Like not having consistent O coordinators, not being able to be comfortable in the system. Yeah, that can kind of do that to a kid. So I'm kind of happy for him. I'm proud of him how he did it. I mean, it's no love loss. I'm proud of the kid. Like you said, Austin, he gave us everything he got, and I hope he finds success at the next school.
I don't think he's ever meant to be a 32 game at Florida State player. Sometimes it happens where it just doesn't work out. No, good luck to him, but it needed to happen just in order for the constant who's going to be the quarterback. I don't care what anyone says. I'm sure Sit on Southern wanted to go in, but at the same time, you know, they can move forward. That's the only thing positive I'll say.
Yeah, like you guys said, it really felt like James Blackman gave it his all at Florida State. He worked extremely hard on and off the field. And Nate, you just said it. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. And I mean, that's what happened with James. He was a great leader on the team, guy with a lot of character, and I'll definitely be rooting for him at his next stop.
Yeah, no, I hope he gets. And I'm kind of with Los. I'm really happy for him because I want him to go get an opportunity and get really just a fresh start. I wonder what it's going to feel like if he were to go to a program that has had a coach for years, offensive coordinator, average offensive line. Like, I'd like to see him actually get a nice, solid new feeling at a university and actually get a lot of playing time where he can become successful. So I know on my end of things, and all of us at No Game Day plan on rooting for him because he really was on that sideline and on the field too, definitely this year. But man, he had to deal with some terrible, terrible offensive line play, man, getting blasted back to back by Clemson's defensive line. I mean, that was just the highlight. What ESPN would run all throughout his time at Florida State was immediately him getting absolutely wrecked by defensive linemen. But this man would get back up and continue to play. And that's something Florida State has had a good trend on, of keeping these quarterbacks out there and wanting to continue to drive and fight through injuries. But he most certainly played very hard during his career at Florida State, and I wish him the best and wherever he goes. But he's no longer with the program at Florida State University. Up next, got a lot to go here. This was kind of a shocker a little bit. Maybe not to some, but Tamaron Terry, Florida State star wide receiver, is now leaving the program at Florida State University. He's going to focus on recovering from injury. It is not yet confirmed from his camp on what he intends to do, if he intends to transfer to another college or if he's going to go to get ready for the NFL side of things and draft combine. But he will no longer be with Florida State University after that game against Pittsburgh. Thoughts on that one?
I think it would be dumb for him to go somewhere else. Take your draft grade. If healthy, he's someone that can go to a combine and blow up a combine and improve his draft grade. But I would not understand why he would continue on and go in the NFL next year as a 24-year-old rookie. I think, you know, he has enough good tape that a good combine, you know, those two would match themselves. I just don't think that he would benefit from being in college another year.
I don't disagree. I think at this point, just take your draft grade and run with it. And now looking back, he probably wishes he'd taken that draft grade and ran with it last year instead of sticking around for 4 games.
Yeah, like you guys said, it's not only about him recovering from his injury, it's also just taking that next step mentally, because it feels like he's clashed with a couple coaching staffs now, and we've had so much conflict since the beginning of the season in regards to Tamorian and Marvin Wilson and some of the other veterans. So I guess this is the best move for him now, but I also question the optics of this move. I mean, what are NFL teams going to say to Tamorian Terry at the combine when they ask him about why he left Florida State with 4 weeks left in the season? And I mean, Marvin Wilson, who we're going to get to, he's out as well, but he's elected to remain with the program. So, I mean, Tamorian Terry could have sat out, rehabbed, and still stayed at Florida State, but he took it to that extra step of also leaving the program as well. So you could tell that he's pretty disgruntled with how everything ended up turning out this season.
Yeah.
You do wonder if it's true of him not showing up for practice and kind of not really saying that he was done. You know, if that's the way he went out, I hate to say I wouldn't be surprised. And that's going to be the red flags that, as Dustin kind of just said, that will turn off NFL teams.
Yeah, word gets around. Yeah, no, word gets around, right, Lewis? I mean, with scouts and guys, don't you think word gets around with that kind of stuff?
I mean, do I think it's a red flag because you have a guy not show up for practice? But do we know the ins and outs of what was said to this man? Do you know how this man was treated? Do you know what kind of mental this man has been through with coaching staffs? Do you know how he wants to be respected as a man and as a player and what he brings to the table? Are they trying to force this man to play when he's unhealthy enough to play? Is that a choice he has to make for his own benefit? I mean, these are all factors that we don't know. I am a former player, and sometimes as a player, you're a child. Like you still are treated as a child because you're a student athlete. Keyword student. These are grown men you're playing for you. So you have to have some sort of respect for the adult in the room, quote unquote. But you want to be treated as an adult. You want to be treated as a man. You're playing a grown man sport. So we don't know what was said to this man while he was hurt. You don't know how he's being treated. I mean, Nasruddin ain't played all year, and Terry's tried to play through injury multiple games. So we really don't know. So I mean, we just don't know. Do I think it's the best decision for him? Yeah, his numbers haven't been what second team All-American numbers should be. No, they haven't been. But we know what he can do. We know what he's going to bring to the table when he goes to the combine. We know what he's going to bring to the table when he gets drafted late, hopefully a day 2 pick, because I think he's worth it. We know it is going to happen, but we don't know what's going on mentally with this kid. And just to say he's going to get red flag because of how he's handled the situation, I think he did the most respectfully he could for a kid. You know, I mean, he wants to be treated like a man. I think he took time for himself to step away and not come to practice, not blow up, and not cause too much attention for himself. I think that's what he did. If that's a red flag, fuck it. It's a red flag. But I think he handled business.
Well, to follow up on my comment about the red flag, well, first, I think that what he put on film this year against Notre Dame, you look at what, the game this past weekend, for all the recruiting wins and everything that Clemson has, he still outperformed anything that anyone's done against Notre Dame this year. Mm-hmm. You can't deny his ability. But at the same time, if you want to be treated like a man, you want respect, you have to give respect. So in order to want to be treated like a grown man, you have to treat others like you want to be treated, right? Like all of our parents told us.
Can I ask you a question, Nate?
Nate, can I
ask you a question?
Yep.
Are the coaches, are they a player right now dealing with a pandemic in 2020? Are they being asked to go to class and complete their degrees online and away from family during the pandemic? Are they being asked to do that? No, they're being asked just to coach. They have all the luxuries of being paid millions of dollars. I don't see any of these kids breaking banks. These coaches are still getting paid. They're still living in like these kids are being pushed to the limit. Yes, it's certain things at this point in time a college kid should demand from a coach, and he should be able to get it. I'm not talking about being out in the open about it, but hey, coach, I'm going through some shit. Hey, man, I'm not feeling this. I should be able to say that. I've been through 3 head coaches. I've been through how many offensive coordinators? You know the situation coming in here, Norvell. Like, I get it. Maybe I may be more sensitive to it because I am a player. I'm a former player, and that does hit home. Like, this kid been through a lot. That's why I have a lot of respect for James. I'm not mad at
don't
Terry,
disagree with
but
that.
I think he handled it the best way a hurt individual can handle it.
I don't know,
He
just
did
for
what's
me,
best for him.
I think when you call your coach a fuckboy on national television,
Did he deserve it?
uh,
Nate, but you don't know that, Nate.
no, but
Just like listen, I got an interview about Doug Whaley.
Let's go back on Carlos.
Like, you get what I'm saying? I felt like that at that point period in time.
Yeah, let's go back to that moment though.
Boy.
That was
Point
after
period, Nate.
that
You
was
don't know the ins and outs of that
after
relationship.
that was after he made
You
multiple
don't
poor
know
plays.
what was
I don't care what
said.
I don't
You
know.
don't know that relationship. A grown
Maybe
man
I
should have
do.
more composure than a kid.
Maybe I do.
I'm gonna
though.
say that.
I think
A
Maybe I
head
do.
coach should have more composure than a kid. So I'm just gonna say, you don't know what was said. I'm not saying anything was said, but you don't know what was said, or you don't know what transpired to make that man feel that way, to make them say that words about Norvell. You don't know that.
I think it's a good thing for him to be moving on.
I didn't doubt that, but I think he handled
Healthy
it.
or unhealthy, Tamara
I
and
think
Terry
he
had
handled it the best way he knew how. After
I
calling your coach a
disagree.
fuckboy, I think just not coming to practice is pretty cool.
I disagree.
I mean, you feel me?
I think that is heading in the wrong direction. I think where Norvell wants to go, so I can understand where that split off ties.
I'm not
You think?
coming
What
to
about? All
practice.
right, you go back. Let's talk about Jimbo. I want to talk about Jimbo. How would that work with Jimbo? How would that
Jimbo
work?
treat us accordingly. Like Jimbo treat us
No,
accordingly.
no. If you were coming and you said, "I'm not coming to practice,"
Okay,
This man
one,
was
there is
kicking.
no not coming to practice.
and
And
that's
see,
what Terry did.
I think what
What
we get
Terry
lost
did,
on.
though.
Listen, I think what we get lost on is like, we want these kids that's been through 3 head coaches and all these coaching changes to be like, fuck it, we just gonna ride this shit out. I'm mentally tired. I'm mentally drained of years of BS and changes and changes and changes. I'm seeing Miami change within the system. I'm seeing Florida change within the system. I'm seeing Bama never change. I'm seeing LSU not changing. I'm seeing these big universities stay consistent with internal changes. We're changing head coaches every other year. We just had a coach come in here and not win a fuck for us. I'm mentally drained. We don't know what these kids are mentally going through, but we expect them to go through and do so much. I can't sit here and blame them for it. But Jimbo, like, we're not coming to practice. Jimbo not doing that. But we're not also going through a pandemic. We're like, it's different. Time is a lot different. Their mental capacity is a lot different. We had a consistent coach. Like, we had consistent offense, consistent defense. Like, know what I'm saying? We knew what we were going into. You want a kid that's had 3 head coaches, 3 defensive coordinators, and all this kind of stuff to be like, I'm just going to ride it out, and whatever you say, I'm going to ride with it. No, bro. I'm uncomfortable. I want just a little comfortability. If it go against the grain, I understand the head coach. It's my program. I want to run it a certain way. This is mine. This is me moving forward. He has every right to do so. That's why I feel like Terry did what's best for him. Is it a red flag? Nate, yes, I agree. You should not have done that. But if you are going to call your coach a fuckboy, I expect you not to be at practice. Because I damn sure know if anybody would have ever said that to Jimbo, that wouldn't even came out your mouth. Jimbo would have never made you feel like to call him a fuckboy. Like, that would have never even been nothing. Jimbo would have treated you accordingly.
And now I think Nate's going.
We don't know what happened.
Where,
you don't know why that man called him that. Nobody knows.
It was
Only they
to
know.
Ron Dugans, right? Wide receiver coach. Yeah.
Yep.
So not to Norvell, but it was to Dugans, which that's another conversation once the season ends on who is still going to be expected.
Dugans was here last year.
Yep.
No.
Dugans has been his coach for 2 years in a row. So I don't buy that argument. I just completely disagree. That just shows for me, I don't expect these players to be anything but student athletes.
I will
whoa.
say,
Hold on.
Nate.
No. Let me finish my
You
thought.
expect them to be nothing but you expect to be a robot? Oh, I'm a human.
No.
Scratch that off the board. I'm a human. Fuck all that. And if you're not going to
let me
treat me
finish my
accordingly,
comment.
I'm going to treat you accordingly. You
Let me
just said
finish
I
my
expect them to
comment.
be nothing but student athletes, Nate. You
Yes.
expect them to be robot,
No, I
emotionless
don't.
robot.
I don't expect them to be robots, but I expect. I come from the old school where you respect your coach whether you disagree or not.
Same
What
to
your
me.
coach tells you, but the minute you have that any instant reaction or any altercation or anything with your coach,
Hmm?
done.
What foundation he got? What foundation does he have to even stand on, to even have that respect for them guys? I'm gonna be honest though. Let's keep it a buck, Nate.
Because it's been there for multiple years.
He's been there a year. You're not winning. You're not winning. It seems like it's a scramble to find out who was our real playmakers at first at quarterback.
Why are we not? Why are they not
we all
winning?
talked about it. So
Why are
what
they
kind
not
of
winning?
respect? What kind of respect has he truly earned from just like a pandemic, no spring, no real training camp? What respect has he really earned?
But
I can't see. I can't.
Terry's
I
a
understand
third.
what you're saying,
Terry's
Nate,
a
as
third year,
adult.
fourth year player in the program. If it was a first year player, I'd agree with you. But a guy who's been under Dugans for 2 years.
What is Terry's? What's Terry's record? Like, what is his record? He's been in the program 4 years. Is he part of a winning Florida State program?
Why did Tamarion Terry come back to college?
To win
Obviously,
football
he felt like his numbers wasn't good enough to go get drafted. Him and
Correct.
Martin.
He's inconsistent, half-ass play when he wasn't getting the ball. That's why he came back to college.
So he came back to work.
What was to show that he can be a more consistent pass catcher and show more effort when he's not the primary target. So that tells me that he takes plays off and he's not mentally always there as a player. So like I was trying to say earlier, I expect these guys to be student athletes and give their all, not to be robots, not to change for their system, be your individual, but still put forth all your effort to the success of the program. I don't care what happens in the NFL. I don't care what happens after. I'm a Florida State fan. I want to see these guys succeed. When I know for a fact that he has not put forth all of his effort consistently, and then you add the way he went out, calling his coach a fuckboy, that's why I say red flags.
Nate,
It'll be.
can I ask you a question?
That's just my thought.
Nate, can I ask you a question though? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Were you a fly on the wall? Do you know how that man treated him? Despite the play.
If I was a fly on the wall, I'd be really wealthy.
Do you know how,
that
man treated him? Hold on. Have you ever had to call somebody a fuckboy? No. You never had to.
Call this week on Twitter.
Okay, so I'm being serious. Though, like, have you ever had somebody treat you or something? You be like, hey, bruh, you not going. Something was said. Nobody just says that off the top. Like nobody just come off. Oh, I'm just no. Something was said to make something was provoked.
A pure reaction to not taking adversity well.
Come on. Come on. I'm talking. That's slamming the helmet or knocking over the Gatorade. Not aiming the boy at your coach. Something was said. That boy was provoked.
I don't know.
You don't just bust out of nowhere.
We need to go look back at that film. I wish I could pull it up on here. I wish we could look back at the play on what happened and then see the altercation, which that is most certainly going to be brought up in the combine interview. That is most certainly that clip right there.
It
is going to be brought up, and they're going to discuss it and figure it out. But I do think, though, that the Florida State side of things and him aren't on the same page right now. His release was through a text message that he screenshotted and put on social media. He's on social media giving away all of his Florida State gear, every bit of it, gloves, cleats.
You want to be a grown man, act like it. That's what I'm going to say.
So it's interesting. Both sides are not on the same page whatsoever. It's not your like regular opting out. Usually the graphic design team makes you a graphic and they put it out like you've seen all across the country. So I think both sides are not on the same page, and we'll be interested to see where he goes. But best of luck to him. We'll see. Next
Crazy.
one, Marvin Wilson. Marvin Wilson.
This should be interesting.
What I say? Marvin Wilson done for the season. Knee isn't feeling good. Isn't feeling good, Los.
Why
isn't feeling
did
good.
he play the season? Nate, You got something to say about Marvin, Nate? Let me hear you roast Marvin. Let me ride out on Marvin's ass, Nate. Let me hear you take.
I'm not going to roast Marvin.
It's not that hard. Look at his stats.
Yeah. No. I want to hear Nate. Go. I want you to go in like you just went in on Terry, because he's going to stay and suck up all the scholarship money and suck up all the free meals and suck up all the free gear and suck up all the accolades. Not worth.
He deserves it.
He deserves what? He deserves what?
He put in his time. He put in his time.
Then his time. So he deserved a new turf room. He deserved a new turf room, all the new Nike gear after we won the championship. So all of them deserve that. Nate, get the fuck out. That's bullshit, Nate. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. He don't deserve it. He don't deserve nothing. He ain't played worth a fuck. Not worth the accolades. And you're gonna sit here and talk about Terry, and you're not gonna talk about this man. Well, wow.
Terry quit on the team, though.
This is probably one of the most overhyped.
Here's my thoughts on Marvin Wilson.
This probably one of he's overhyped. He's overhyped. He gets
here's
all
my
the
thoughts on
accolades. He's terrible. Wow, Nate.
Hey, you asked for my opinion, so I'm going to give you my opinion on Marvin Wilson.
Terrible.
Okay, you ready? You ready for it, Carlos?
I'm listening. I'm listening.
I mean, you're going to listen. You're going to butt
excuses. I'm ready for the excuses.
I don't think that Marvin Wilson should have came back. I think he made a big mistake, for one. Two, I think, like Terry, your supposed leaders on the team, and if talk is true, I don't think that he should have came back, should have played. I don't think that he's leaving Florida State on good terms in terms of his season he just had. With I think the bullshit this summer with the social media, I think that's something that could have been handled in house. I think that set a negative connotation for your supposed leader to not support the coaching staff. I don't care what anyone says. I don't think actions speak louder than words. I don't think his actions have shown that he's bought into this coaching staff, and I think that his play showed more than ever that he was just an inconsistent player and really couldn't care less what happened.
So you want him to come back?
I do not want him to come back.
But you're okay with him coming back? You're okay with him sucking the system dry?
I think that there's really no option because
it's no option. Terry took an option. It's to leave and move on.
Hey, listen.
Marvin's going to suck the teeth of D1 football for another season. And
he's going to be gone in a month. He ain't coming back.
He's done it in a month.
He's like, wow, it's true. He's
going
to suck the teeth of D1 football.
Marvin ain't coming back.
He ain't coming back.
He's done in a month.
Done. I don't know what you're talking about. He's done.
He's not coming back.
He chose to stay on the team.
He's already accepted. He's already accepted an invite to the Senior Bowl. Yeah, he's not coming back.
So what staying on the team is doing for him?
Optics.
He
didn't quit.
I'm here to support you.
Yeah, he's supporting his teammates even though he can't play. Terry left.
Terry left like a bitch.
It's completely different.
Can I ask you a question?
No, you can't ask a question. No, you're out of question. You only get 5 a night.
Let me ask you a question.
So I'm asking a lot of questions, Los.
So you guys are going to be okay with Blackman transferring.
Lots of excuses.
How he transferred is okay. But you mad at Terry for how he left because he felt disrespected?
I don't think Wilson.
But you're okay with him staying for
transferring.
optics?
He's leaving because of a knee injury. Supposed. And he's already made his intentions known that he's going to the Senior Bowl.
Have you guys?
To the draft. I don't think Tamarion.
Have any of you ever played football? Or have any of you ever been in a college locker room or been around a college coach or dealt with that kind of shit? I don't think so. Because the way you went off on Terry, but y'all okay with this man staying around for optics, but you're not okay with this man leaving because he felt disrespected how he talked to another grown man. That shit is beside me. Like
he didn't make that known though.
Yep. It doesn't matter. One, because he handled it with himself. I'm not coming to practice. I've already called my coach a fuckboy. I'm not coming to practice. That's how I handled it. Like if I want to disrupt the team or do some wild shit, then I come on the campus. I disrupt practice. I put the show on me. No, I don't disclose. I don't talk about what Ron Dugan said to me to provoke me, but I know a kid I played college football. Nobody snaps at another grown man unless something is said to provoke him. So yes, he left. In my opinion, cool. It's a red flag. But y'all okay with Marvin for sitting around and sucking the scholarship band? That's what I'm talking about. You're sitting around. I'm using it for optics. But what good optics?
Carlos,
what good optics is
let me read you this.
And he's not a quitter.
Bro, that shit is dead.
Carlos,
Marvin sitting around for optics. Bullshit.
Listen, so glad to see Terry exit. That bandage was needed ripped off. That bandage should have been ripped off a long time ago.
And so Marvin,
that's the mindset of the people in the program.
They're the same. One just got better accolades and is a better face. So let's just keep the better face around. He's not gonna be worth a fuck. We're just gonna keep him for the optics because it looks good for us. He ain't really cheering for nobody. He ain't cheering for nobody. He would have played better in the beginning if he wanted to play for the team. He would have been prepared for the season if he wanted to be ready for the team. He wouldn't have blew up on Norvell if it was for the team. He wouldn't have sold out on Norvell with a little discrepancy about talking to the players over the pandemic if it was for the team. If it was about the team, it wouldn't have been that bullshit in the beginning. Now you give him
I just said all of that.
Every week,
I just said all that.
Every week,
I hear you said all that though, Carlos.
Every
so
week,
I don't know.
But I'm saying you're giving him a pass, and it's sweet for him because he's Marvin Wilson, and it's bad for Terry because it's Terry.
Did I just say that his effort was poor? What he did with Norvell should have been handled in-house. He didn't put forth all of his effort. He's had a horrible season.
But yeah, you can find some little.
No. But the simple fact is, one person did it the right way. The other person did not do it the right way. Both guys need to be gone out of the program, and we're moving forward.
You did not know what that man had said to him to cuss that man out.
I don't give a shit.
You don't know that.
I don't give a shit.
What do you think he kind of said?
Nate, you don't know. You've never been in that kind of situation, so you don't know, Nate. You can't sit there and say that. Until another man sit in front of your face and say some wild shit like that to you to provoke you to call him a fuckboy, you can't say that. You can't.
You would think if Diggins did say something, it would be spread around the team. It'd be on social media.
You go walk in his shoes and go see how many fuckboys come out your mouth. Go do that shit and see how many fuckboys come out your mouth.
I know.
And see what people talk about you and tweet about you and say about you for having to pull a hurt knee or a hamstring or not playing up to their expectations. That shit is hard. That shit wears on you going through 3 head coaches and offensive coordinators. That shit wears on you, Nate. Unless you get through it, it wears on you. So I think if somebody say the wrong shit at the wrong time, and I'm a kid, I'm gonna say what I feel. I'm gonna get that shit off my chest. So if I'm gonna call a man a fuckboy after he broke me, I'm gonna call him a fuckboy.
Move on.
There we go.
Marvin Wilson, you stand around for the optics. I don't agree with. Point blank. Period. If you're not gonna play, you need to move on. Go away. Go the fuck away. Don't be around. Don't do shit, but go to class. Don't be around my team because now you're a poison.
Next up, Devontae Love Taylor's out for the season. Devontae Love Taylor's out. Get ready. Carlos is gonna get Devontae Love Taylor.
Cancer.
Devontae Love Taylor. This is.
I can't be mad at him. The whole offensive line play sucks. So fuck it. That's my take. Whole offensive line plays ass. Y'all can have that topic.
Devontae Love Taylor is out for the season with lower body injury. And by the way, if you're not already subscribed to Hear the Spear, please do it now. I mean, if you ain't subscribed to Hear the Spear, I don't know what you're doing. I can promise you, no other podcast is doing this. I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you right now. So, all the other podcasts out there, catch up. Let's see. Devontae Love Taylor out for the rest of the season. Florida State's best offensive lineman, and obviously a big hurt here moving forward. The season in my mind, and I think all of us here, the season's already over, but. You got to hope, though, that he is intending on coming back next season because that's a big help for your Florida State offensive line.
He was the only good one out there. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, he played well this season. Obviously, it shows whenever he's down on the field in the next couple of drives, it's hard to have offensive rhythm, which sucks. And that's what the case is. But Florida State really struggles with having offensive rhythm whenever he's not out there. Let's see. So Devontae Love Taylor, any comments on that, Dustin?
Man, it was clear after he went down against Pittsburgh that the Florida State offensive line just couldn't handle Pittsburgh's front seven. He's been the best and the most consistent player on that entire offensive line throughout the season. So I really think we're going to see this unit probably regress a little bit over these final 4 games without him in the lineup at left tackle. But then again, I mean, it's another challenge for Alex Atkins, who I think has proved a lot this season with the way that offensive line has performed. And, you know, I bet he's excited to see some of the other guys that are going to step into Love Taylor's place and how they can perform. So we'll see what happens.
I agree with D-Lou. I think it's another opportunity for a young guy to get in there and get some reps. I mean, we do have a couple games left. We do got to play Clemson. So, I mean, it's going to be some good quality reps. But having him in there, I mean, like when I played with Stork was that guy. We call it like poetry in motion. Like when you run the stretch or you run the zone, everybody's steps got to be on key. You guys talked about like the flow of the offense when he's not in there. Maybe he's that flow guy. Maybe he's that guy that gets the energy going, like with a little couple words right before the ball snap, before they break the huddle, you know? So, I mean, it's going to be exciting to see who steps up and who takes on that role. And I think over the next couple games, we'll be able to see who defines that role for the offensive line.
Louisville transfer from over the offseason, defensive end Jarrett Jackson gets his waiver cleared. It looks like he's going to have a lot of playing time this weekend with a struggling defensive line with guys in and out and dealing with injuries. And obviously Marvin Wilson's out, which we really didn't talk about Marvin Wilson yet tonight. But Jarrett Jackson's going to be cleared for game time on Saturday. And we talked about
what the hell took so long?
It's
November.
I thought,
Yeah.
I don't know what took so long for that to happen. Lordy day, poor guy, but now he finally gets to play. I know me and Nate were talking about it in the production meeting, but Florida State really needs some defensive end play, both now and then on the recruiting trail moving forward.
Hopefully, it gets J-Rob the hell out of there. Please give him J-Rob's reps, please.
Okay, can I listen? He's
You can't ask the question.
He's around the ball. He just can't make the play.
He's around the ball because he's 6'6".
Like when you watch the film, the eye and the scout don't lie. The NFL scouts be like, damn, this kid's around the ball. But yeah, this kid's around the ball, but damn, like he just a fingertip from
can't make a play. Oh,
I mean, know what it is though? Honestly, I think that's dog. I mean, I play with some great defensive ends. I think it's just the edge. I mean, Tank Carradine was a transfer and came in behind B. Jenkins and Bjorn Warner. I mean, he had to come in and play ball so every snap he got. I think Robinson kind of got an easy way in there in the start, and he's been there, for 3 years now as a 3-year starter. So, I mean, we just kind of want to see a little bit more edge. He always close to making the play. He just don't make the play.
I believe he is now a defensive tackle, Jackson. So
I think you're right. I think he got moved inside.
I think that's where you see him play now.
I get my glasses.
I mean, he's up to 295, but you know he's a massive kid. He's 6'6".
Big boy.
I think with Wilson gone and Durden out, I think that Fabian Lovett has continued to improve week over week. I think that getting Briggs back has been extremely beneficial.
Briggs has put on some pounds too.
I mean, he's up at 280, 285, so he's a welcome addition. I think that Jackson will come in and be a depth guy.
Mm-hmm.
At 295, I can't see him playing end anymore. I think he's definitely a D tackle, probably a 3 technique for Florida State. But J-Rob, time to go.
Former wide receiver DJ Matthews has found his next destination. He's going to be transferring to Indiana. Thoughts on that, everybody?
Cool.
Who cares?
Whoa, come on. See,
basketball season's coming up, Carlos. He's already 90%.
That's what Austin ain't said that all night, low key.
He says that every week.
All right, Carlos, let me ask you a question.
No.
Oh, please.
We're countering questions. Here we go.
What are your thoughts on DJ Matthews?
One,
just pick.
I don't think he ever found a dominant role at Florida State. He never found his we don't know what he does well, honestly. I know he's fast, but how do we utilize his speed? Like Kermit was a kick returner and a jet sweep guy. Like we used Kermit. I got out on a toss sweep. He took a touchdown. I mean, we knew what he could do. We just knew he was fast. We never knew how to use the fast, I feel like. I mean, That I've never seen that before. He played a lot of games, but never seen him take off. Like I've seen Keith Gavin run faster than I've seen DJ Matthews.
Do you think it's a loss for him to transfer out of FSU?
No, I think he needs more film. I think he has to touch the field. I think he has to go to Indiana and be like, I want to return kicks and punts and run fast. Like, help me show I can run fast and catch balls deep. Like, I mean, he's just never shown anything. Last time I really seen him play consistent football was watching his high school highlight tapes. I think he needs more film.
So do you think that he is just not a good college player? Because he hasn't progressed.
I think he hasn't been developed. Can I give you a prime example? Y'all remember LaMarcus Brutus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good, came in the recruiting class with us. Everybody thought LaMarcus was a bust, like he didn't belong. He found the right system. When Coach Pruitt came in, when Coach Kelly took over, he found the niche. He was a 2-year starter for Florida State. Mm-hmm. He got developed. DJ never got developed here.
I think it could, maybe this is off the road here, but I think an exact opposite example of that is Nick Wasom, who came in under Stoops, played well under Stoops, and then when Pruitt came in, he disappeared. So
I witnessed that. I was there for this. I was DB at the time.
But
Nate, I also disappeared around the same time when Pruitt got here, and I moved to different side of the ball. So that option ain't for everybody, Nate.
I thought you should have been a running back the whole time, but nonetheless.
Nate, but with that, I do agree with you though. Waste play, but also we play a lot of 2-man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
a lot of 2-man.
Completely different scheme and defense.
So, like I said, the Brutus got developed.
So
DJ Matthews been in 3 different offenses. He never got a chance to develop.
I think he came in for a different offense, and while I'm not the biggest DJ Matthews fan, I'm interested to see him play under. If he stays there, if their offensive or their wide receiver coach stays there, and if their head coach stays there, which you don't know if they continue to have success, some schools tries to grab them. We'll see how he does under maybe a better environment, and some more accountability.
That's what I'm hoping for. Every kid, honestly, when I see kids transfer out, I could only hope that they find stability. Because I understand the transfer, I get it, but like you got to go find some place with stability. Like we talked about it. You want to find a coach that's been there for a while, that's set like a foundation, that has a history for him, owns like himself, like, and a lot of kids want to go find that. They don't have that when they come to Florida State right now. They don't feel that. So I understand a lot of kids wanting to leave.
Next topic here. This is a good one here. Nate's list. Viral list, Nate. This list that that went out. Dustin's already trying to get out of the pod. He's texting me. He's trying to get out of the podcast. He was late, but he's trying to get out. By the way, he's texting me. Unreal, Dustin. Unreal.
I actually have been requested to leave. So my wife already just asked me to go. And I feel like Nate mad at me anyway.
Dustin's not married yet, though. He doesn't have the ring.
Are you mad at me, Nate?
Nah. No.
This is a great conversation, fellas.
I love that. That's a good conversation. But yeah, Nate's list.
I mean, you're wrong, but anyway.
Everybody's wrong on a podcast.
Oh yeah, right. We're all just waxing poetic, really.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously, if you're not in our Discord, I highly suggest it. But obviously, Florida State is going to have quite a bit of transfers expected here in the coming weeks. Definitely once the offseason hits, once the season is officially over. And Nate was hearing things, and he released a list, and it turned out to a really good time on Twitter, Nate. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
that was fun.
I think reading comprehension needs to be addressed for people. People took it as gospel, like it was going to happen. It was just a possibility of names.
Mm-hmm.
You can have your opinion whether it should get out. It went out on a pay site, and then people ran with it, which is what happens with every pay site. But nonetheless, I know there was some adverse reaction by a player's father, specifically. At the same time, I don't put stuff out there without some form of validation or some form of backing of it. I've been doing this off and on for 14 years. And when I say off and on, I mean that means writing or contributing to a website. When I left No Digest, I continued to stay talking to people. So I'm not just throwing shit up against the wall and hoping it sticks. That list was initially generated in mid-October, and I'm hoping some of those kids do stay. But I think that, as Carlos has elegantly put throughout this podcast, is that there's a lot of people who just have had enough, and I think it's best for the program that some of these kids leave, and some hopefully stay. The few that I know that the coaches are really trying to get to stay, but I think at the end of the day, I think attrition is healthy, and in order for Florida State to kind of right the ship, they have to get the people off the boat who don't want to be here.
Who would you like to stay, Nate?
Off that list.
Off that list.
Have you seen the list, Los?
Who would you like to stay, Nate?
I would like Brennan Gant to stay. I would like Gant to stay.
Okay.
I would like. I think that he has a role in the defense.
He's from Polk County, so I want him to stay.
Yep.
I like 4-4.
I think that for one reason why he was talked about was lack of playing time, and I think that's starting to change. I think he has a role in the defense. I think that he has a mentality that this team needs. I would like Robert Cooper to stay. I think that he is really. I think he's a good player.
He's next up. I feel like he's next up.
I don't think he's hit his potential yet. If he can, drop a few more pounds, I think that he's definitely someone that can, that has a future in the NFL. I would like Akeem Dent to stay. I think that for him it's been a little bit of health issues. I don't think he's healthy. I think that ankle's still bothering him. Otherwise, I'm okay with what happens after everything else.
Yeah.
What about my guy Corey Durden?
Nate, are you married?
Yeah, I'm married, 2 kids, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You understand this? I got to get off. My wife say I got to get off now. So you understand this? Y'all other boys understand this? Hey, I love y'all boys. Y'all go listeners.
Trust me, I understand.
Here to Secure, brought to you by Nose Game Day. I am 2013 National Championship. Carlos Williams. I'm out of here,
You left out all your energy. You left out all your energy earlier against Nate. You left all your energy out. Now we know you can only go 2 rounds. Now I know you can.
Hey, I don't know about you, but you see Nate stop talking to his wife about them headphones real quick. I gotta go.
Say it again. What was that?
Oh my goodness! Hey Nate, he couldn't last more than 2 rounds. 2 rounds with you. That's all he could last for.
Hey man,
it's hard to go more rounds like that. But
yeah,
I'm with Nate.
I can go all night, man. I can go all night, man.
We told you he was training for a fight.
I don't say anything without proof.
Yeah. So that was the list. Obviously, it was a big thing on Twitter. So time will do the telling. That's what I like. That's what I'm going to keep going. Let the time do the telling. But I'm with Nate in a lot of this. I like a majority of these guys to stay, and nobody wants players to leave, lose scholarships, all this kind of thing. But right now, Florida State is in a interesting spot, very, very interesting spot, where you are going to see most likely a mass overhaul on players deciding to leave, and some that want to stick under Norvell. And the major part of those are younger guys. A nugget that
us as Florida State fans, and I say us, we're all Florida State fans, have to make the decision whether it's attrition or not. In order for this team to move forward, it has to happen. There's guys on that list that aren't necessarily for the team, and for Norvell to right the ship, for things to get fixed, you have to have 100% buy-in. Not everyone on that list is bought into what Norvell is trying to do.
And if you're going to do it, it has to be this offseason. When APR is not being counted, when you already have this extra year of eligibility.
It's a free year.
It has to be this offseason if it's going to happen.
Yep.
On Wednesday, I received some info that Florida State has reached out to representatives of a potential candidate for defensive coordinator. This happened. The contact happened on Monday.
Who is it?
Can't say.
What's their name start with?
You were all of Discord and Twitter yesterday, or mainly Discord yesterday.
Bill Belichick, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
It's Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick. Keep that. You can cite us on that too, please.
Decent pickup.
Do that. Yes. I mean, he's got to go. I mean, Patriots are doo-doo this year, so he's got to find somewhere else to go. So keep an eye on Bill Belichick. But seriously, this happened on Monday. I'm told that it's very, 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 very early in this whole situation going on. Norvell allowed the contact to happen. He kind of had a neutral side on it. He wasn't against it, nor was he really for it. But this was a push from the admin and boosters. So there is some little nugget news to hit the podcast waves for you guys. As always, you can jump into our Discord and receive that kind of news days before it comes onto the podcast. So let's see here. What else is last? The last one, I feel like I've been through a boxing match, but we're on the last topic of football here, at least for the quick hitters. NCAA's new recruiting update, and obviously Nate has a pretty big take on this too, and you have a little bit more info on it, Nate. On their new
update. They pushed back the dead period to April 15th of 2021, which I think is completely unfair for these kids, for both 2021 class and for the start of the 2022 cycle. And it's a massive blow to what any new coach and new coaching staff, and you look at Florida State, what they need to do in order to fill their class, in order with any opportunity to flip recruits, to show what Florida State has to offer on a visit. You can only show so much on a virtual visit. And I know it's a hot topic among podcasts and chat sites and Twitter about Norvell as a recruiter, but you have to legitimately take into effect how hard Florida State's been hit with this no visit and with COVID. It's been said by multiple high-level recruits that Norvell is extremely impressive on the visits, and his presentation is top flight, top notch. And let me just remind people what Florida State was able to get on campus before COVID hit. Terrence Ferguson, Jordan Hancock, Barrett Carter, Destin Payson Hill, whatever you want to call him, Zayon Reeves, Luther McCoy, King Jackson, Ken Williams, Tristan Lee, Caden Salter, Nyland Green, Philip Riley, who I think is the best cornerback in Florida, Keon Coleman, Sage Ryan, Patrick Payton, Tommy Hill, Christian Leary. Arian Arnold visited multiple times and was slated to visit multiple times. Luke Altmaier supposed to visit multiple times. These are all kids who visited or were slated to visit. So I'm going to hold off on the indictment of Norvell not being a recruiter, and knowing that he's had to deal with COVID. It's going to be very interesting how this class finishes up in 2021 and how it starts, because that means no junior day for these coaching staffs moving into 2022. So I think it is going to be very interesting 2 to 3 years on the road what the transfer portal looks like, because you're going to have a lot of kids going to a school they've never visited and are just going to on the whim. So
what do you think this benefits more? Like, which kind of schools does it benefit more? More successful ones that are doing good?
It's going to benefit the Clemsons, the Bamas, Ohio States, the ones that have had a consistent coaching staff and have little to no turnover, and those that have showed ability to win. So when you are in a change mode like Florida State is, you have to sell. You have to show what you can sell. And, Florida State hasn't shown that on the field. We can all agree with that. But you can still sell the vision. And it's very hard to get that done when you aren't face-to-face. Calls and all that stuff, it's just different. The vibe is different when you're not in person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I mean, that list of names you just read off, that some of those guys are, ranked in the tops in the country.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, 5 stars, high tier 4 stars. And, it was 8 months ago, but like you said, Nate, people are just kind of forgetting what this staff was doing prior to everything shutting down. And I think, we don't know when we're going to get back to that point when they start allowing visits and things like that again. But you mentioned Norvell's detail. I think him and the rest of the staff are extremely detailed. I mean, we saw that on the junior days. It seemed like they were really starting to build that recruiting momentum before this whole thing happened. And then obviously the start of the season and how that's kind of been a disappointment. But in the future, after this COVID thing, I think Norvell and his staff will have some success on the recruiting trail, because this year is just, it's not like any other year that we've ever covered before.
Austin, we're in the football thread here in Discord, and someone asked, who is the ginger-looking dude at the bottom left?
Ginger.
Austin VZ.
Here we
The
go.
McDonald's employee.
Here we go.
Oh my God.
I didn't say it, Austin. But no, I've told myself we're toning that down because Austin wrote 4,000 words on basketball. We need Austin during basketball season. We need Austin because
words.
this is the good team in the program right now. No, don't FSU soccer. FSU soccer is rolling too, but
FSU soccer too.
yeah. But obviously, basketball is the big limelight of the year. So my McDonald's jokes they're going to slim down. I don't think they're going to disappear, but
They need to retire. They need to retire.
I might opt out. But watch out. Don't call me a fuckboy though. Don't call me that.
It'd be better for optics if you just opted out.
It might be. Don't ask Carlos though. Don't you dare. Yeah, that was from the Discord there. Also, I need to note on here too. We had a nugget in here. I guess we'll just give some nuggets away. I keep on telling people you got to get in the Discord. You got to get with the Patreon. You guys will know about this before.
This is a stale nugget though. They're late.
This one's stale kind of. Well, this one's actually from today. Jordan Travis has not participated in practice all week. Choa Purdy is expected to be the starter on Saturday night. Also, Corey Durden will not be with the team in Raleigh on Saturday night. Seems to be a sickness there. That is in our Discord. You guys get to know about that. The Discord people get to know about that days and if not hours in advance before podcasts. So definitely go sign up there, patreon.com/NoleGameDay. Let's jump into some basketball before we give our Florida State versus NC State predictions. Austin, I'm looking forward to it. I think every day I'm just itching to it. We're getting with our design team soon, and we're going to have our preseason basketball meeting to get ready for what should be a really fun season. Scottie Barnes hype is going everywhere. Also, the NBA draft is coming up with Patrick Williams, Devin Vassell. I mean, I feel like something's swaying in my body. Like I'm starting to turn a little bit. It's hard not to with Florida State and the football program right now, but I'm starting to turn a little bit towards Leonard Hamilton. Like I'm just feeling it.
And especially with all the news coming out, we've gotten all the preseason stuff. The schedule came out this week.
Yeah.
It's here. Yeah, it's November. It's basketball season. We're here.
You're back. Y'all are back out on Twitter. I mean, all the Twitter heads that are coming around for basketball season are bright. They're back out of their igloo. Welcome back to FSU Twitter. But yeah, Austin, give us the rundown.
Yeah, we're officially 15 days out from Florida State basketball season. The schedule came out on Tuesday, and Florida State will open the season against Gardner-Webb on Friday, November 27th. And then they get UNF before hitting Indiana and Florida. Then you have one more non-conference game against UCF, and then straight conference. The rest of the way, 25 games. And Florida State's schedule looks so good. They got so lucky with their schedule. You get both Duke and Virginia at home. Only have to play them once. North Carolina is the only really good team you play twice. You play Louisville on the road 2 games after you play North Carolina at home. But other than that, there's no brutal stretches. Like, even when you play Virginia, it's the second game of a 3-game homestand. When you play North Carolina, you get 4 days to prepare for it on the road. It's a really, really great schedule. Florida State really couldn't have asked for anything better.
You like that schedule, D-Lou?
I love it. But Austin, I don't want to take over from your thoughts, but are you holding your microphone?
I am. I like holding my microphone. I don't know why.
Interesting.
It's gone up though. You could tell that basketball season like really here because he used to have it down here, but like
I've never seen it before. It's never been that close to his face.
No, I've done it the last few times.
It looks. I've seen it. It's just.
You're just capping at this point. Yeah.
I'm not very observant.
Yeah.
I'll admit that.
Yeah.
No comment, but it does look like he's having an ice cream cone. Like he looks like a happy kid right now. Like his energy has risen a lot. But no, I love the schedule, man. I mean, Florida State I think has a lot of advantages, and like you said for the Virginia game, what is it? 3? How many home games before then?
It's a 3-game homestand. It's the second game, and the 2 games surrounding it are Wake Forest and Virginia Tech. Who, spoiler alert to my ACC preview, I have 2 of the 5 worst teams in the conference. So
okay, interesting. Okay.
They get to play some of the green team against Wake Forest, get to prepare for Virginia. I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to work out really well.
What do you think the hardest is that the hardest game on the schedule right there?
I think at North Carolina. I think North Carolina's much improved this season.
Make it bounce back here.
It's not like last season where you have Cole Anthony, a whole bunch of scrubs. They got I think 5 5-stars coming in, or 4 5-stars coming into that lineup. They're going to be really good. And we've always had really bad luck playing in the Dean Dome. Going back forever. I think that's a tough game. Home against Virginia is going to be a very tough game. I think Sam Hauser brings a lot to that Virginia lineup. Putting him in place of Mamadi Diakite, he opens up so much for that offense where he can pick and pop all day long from that offense, and it's dangerous. And then, obviously Duke's tough.
That voice crack.
Yeah, I'm tired, man.
You're grinding. You've been grinding.
Let me ask you a question, Austin. What is one game on Florida State's schedule where you could see them being upset by a lesser talented team, maybe on the road somewhere?
At Georgia Tech, January 30th. I think Georgia Tech super slept on. A lot of people don't realize they finished 5th in the conference last year. They just started off slow because of injuries, and they bring back almost everybody. If Georgia Tech stays healthy, they've got a lot really of weird defense that very, very rarely can someone score against. Very rarely do you see someone score more than 60 points against Georgia Tech. If we go into that game, we can't hit outside shots. Yeah, you could absolutely drop that game. Same thing with at Miami, late in February. I think Miami's much improved. They had a transfer from Cincinnati who was sitting out last year. He's been in the system a year. That's another game you could see dropping. But
we saw what happened last year.
Yeah, I think Florida State's too well coached at this point. There's a lot of guys that are familiar with this system at this point. So unless they just severely lack focus in a game, I don't see them dropping very many games that they're not supposed to.
Scottie Barnes, I trust.
Scottie Barnes, we trust. Absolutely.
He's never taken a shot in college, but we trust him.
That's the thing. You're not going to see those usual upsets. Like at Virginia Tech, 4 Virginia Tech starters are 6'4" and shorter. You're not going to lose to a team like that.
No.
Yeah, I saw that in your article. Virginia Tech starting power forward is 6'4".
Their starting lineup is 6'1", 6 foot, 6'2", 6'4", and 6'9".
Good Lord, all over the place.
Yeah.
And Florida State's point guard is 6'9".
When your point guard's the same height as your center, it's a bad game.
We need the graphic team this year, the creative team, to come up with a graphic of just skyscrapers. I think for the first game, I think it'd be funny.
And then, to start the season, Florida State's going to be 21st in the AP poll. A little bit lower than I think Florida State's. I think they're at the point where they should be respected enough to be better than 21st. But at least Louisville wasn't in the top 25. I was expecting them to be top 15 just because the media loves Louisville for whatever stupid reason. So to see us 21st and them not being it was kind of it was a meeting ground.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess I pretty much agree with the ranking, sitting there at 21, especially due to the losses of Trent Forrest, Devin Vassell, and Patrick Williams, who were huge for this team a season ago. So to me, 21, around that range, it kind of makes sense because I think, college basketball wants Florida State to prove that they can do it again without those 3 guys. So,
but people said that the year before when we lost Terrence Mann and Phil Kofor and Fiondu Kabengele, and then we bounced back with a better year than ever. So I think this point Florida State they've obviously gotten some respect to be top 25 already, losing the best player in modern program history, in my opinion, in Trent Forrest, and losing 2, we'll get into it later, lottery picks with Devin Vassell and Patrick Williams. So I like you said, I get it. And on the other hand, I think 18 would have been about right. And I think at the end of the season, they'll be in the Sweet 16 again.
I'm not the basketball guy that Austin is, but I just think that the system is there now. Now he's adding top flight pieces. So, I think that the next couple of years could be special for Florida State basketball.
And not just adding top flight pieces, adding top flight pieces that fit the system.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Florida where you're just picking out 5-stars and throwing them against the wall. And you're getting guys that perfectly fit the system that are going to make the system even better than what it already is.
Hashtag extend Mike White always.
Extend Mike White.
I'm
forever Mike White.
Kind of joke about, in Barnes we trust, but, the guy plays defense. He can shoot. For me, I just think that it's a better Ben Simmons in terms of all around game. So I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, they're very comparable. Obviously, Scottie isn't as scared to shoot, but I think Ben's a little bit better around the rim. And that's not a knock on Barnes' game around the rim at all. I think he's phenomenal there, but Ben's one of the best in the NBA at it for a reason.
Yep. It's gonna be interesting to watch. Like you said, Carolina. I think last year was an anomaly, and Duke's going to be Duke, and Virginia. I think you have 4 teams that are going to be ultra competitive when they all play each other.
Yeah, I agree. The only reason I think Virginia wins the conference is because their schedule's a breeze. The teams they played twice, I don't have in front of me. I'd have to look at my article again. But I think the toughest team they played twice is Louisville, and I think Louisville's trash this year. Then after that, it's like Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame. There's a whole bunch of bad teams. They don't have to play any of Florida State, Duke, North Carolina twice. Speaking of Scottie Barnes, though, he was named to preseason All-ACC first team and was preseason freshman of the year. The accolades have just been coming in all offseason for him. He was named to the Cousy list as well, which is the preseason point guard list. And then you have MJ Walker, who made second team All-ACC as well. It's just good to see him get some recognition that he finally deserves.
Love it. Sign me up.
MJ was good. He was really good last year. People always talk about his inconsistencies, but in conference play, he got like 39.4% from 3. That's phenomenal.
You're expecting, because you've been around the program and you've been around him and players that he's played with. But do you see him kind of turn of being a true big time leader like Trent Forrest was? Like, who is going to be that guy? Is it going to be Walker? You're expecting?
I think it has to be. I mean, we heard it in the Patrick Williams interview when he talked about it after the Pitt game, where all they talked about was, this is our year, this is when we're going to go for it, and then they lose to Pitt, and MJ's the one saying, hey, we were saying this is our year, and here we are losing to Pitt. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's taken that next step as a leader, and I think he's going to take that next step as an all-around player too this upcoming season, where they're going to need him to.
Can we transfer, the transfer portal or anything? Does it work inside of one program where at one sport, basketball can go to football, and like those kind of leaders can go to that locker room? Is there has that become available yet? Let me know when that happens, because it feels like that kind of leadership would do kind of well in the Moore Center. But that's just me.
I mean, a lot of it comes from up top when you've had Hamilton, Jones, and CY there forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Smith, who was with CY before they came to Florida State. So there's so much familiarity with the staff. It starts with up top, and they do so much team bonding and team chemistry exercises that it goes a long way. I mean, in the moment, you're like, really, we're doing this again? But when you look back at it over a whole season, it really makes an impact when you have this many team bonding exercises, like I know they do.
Mm-hmm.
Continuing with the busy week for Florida State, they signed the number 2 class for early signing day, getting all of their commits to sign: Jalen Worley, Matthew Cleveland, John Butler, and Naheem McLeod. Worley was kind of a late surprise. Going into early signing day, he was saying he was going to wait till spring. He wants to see the campus. And then on signing day, it comes out, he says he's going to sign, which I think is huge for Florida State. You get those 4 guys locked in heading into next season, and you evaluate your options after the season. Which of these seniors that were going to leave, now have this extra year, are going to stay? It gives them a lot of options moving forward.
Yeah, no, that was big. I think a lot of us were shocked by that Worley news, and you guys can go listen back to our interview with him, and he was great and talked about how focused he is and how much he is in contact with Leonard Hamilton. But that was definitely a good shock to most of us whenever the news came out.
Yeah, a very pleasant surprise for Florida State on early signing day.
Mm-hmm.
And the one decommit they had, Bryce McGowan's, I think he's announcing tomorrow between Nebraska and Georgia. At this point, it doesn't really matter, but I think everyone's expecting him to go to Nebraska.
Play with his brother.
Yep. Chose corn over winning. Sucks.
Corn.
And then heading into next week, we've got the NBA draft. Devin Vassell, Patrick Williams, a lot of information's been coming out about them. If you've been in the Discord, I said it a month ago that Patrick Williams had a guarantee from a top 10 team. I just didn't want to say which team it was at the time because a lot of people wouldn't have believed it. But now rumors are starting to surface that he has a guarantee from the Detroit Pistons at 7. And there's talk that Chicago really loves him at 4. Charlotte really loves him at 3 and is vying him as a trade down candidate if they trade back to like 5 or 6. Boston's rumored to move up to 6, eyeing Patrick Williams. There's a lot of Patrick Williams hype, and it makes sense. The Ringer put out a really great article on him this week saying he's not a great shooter, but he's a good shooter. He's not an elite defender, but he's a good defender. He's good at so many things, and him still being so young and having such a great NBA-ready frame that you can develop that. Take all these little good pieces and make that a great player. And a lot of teams are really drawn to that. There's even an article saying the Warriors were interested in him at 2, which is unbelievable to say coming into the draft process when he was a 17 to 20 type pick.
Yeah. Dustin.
Yeah, speaking of the Boston Celtics, Vassell worked out today.
Yeah, you better start praying.
Vassell's had a busy
I've been
week.
praying.
Y'all got to tell me. So I have no chance of any of these guys coming to me with the Warriors because I would like to follow NBA basketball a lot more. I'm a Warriors fan whenever I move over there to San Fran now that they're right there. I mean, I'm forced to pull for them. Steph Curry is my favorite player. Do I have any chance of having any of these two guys come, or do I have to wait for Scottie Barnes?
I think there's a decent chance, honestly. The Warriors just worked out with Vassell 2 days ago. And in the same interview, Vassell said he hadn't changed a shot. He was just goofing around in that one video, which thank God. So yeah, they're eyeing him as a potential trade down candidate. Like if the New York Knicks were to offer like Mitchell Robinson an 8 to move up to 2, yeah, they would take that all day long and take a guy like Vassell. I don't think there's any chance Vassell falls past 12 at Sacramento. So if like a team like Boston wants him, they're gonna have to trade up. If a team like Golden State wants him, they're gonna have to trade down to like 6 or 7. Really, with Vassell, you're looking at the New York Knicks as a big option, and you're looking at Sacramento as a big option. The Phoenix Suns have been a little bit rumored to take him, but they've already got Mikal Bridges. I don't see them taking 2 of the exact same player. And I know the Wizards need a player like that. The Hawks need a player like that. Patrick Williams and Devin Vassell are the 2 most in-demand kinds of players. They're just not players you want to take with the first 3 picks, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and to your point, Austin, I know it doesn't mean much, but SB Nation held their mock draft today, and Devin Vassell went 8 overall to the New York Knicks. So,
yeah, and there's so many NBA draft podcasts and people that have sources. Going back to Patrick Williams, they said the Patrick Williams draft is going to start at 4 with Chicago, and it's going to be over by 7. Everyone's firmly expecting him to be within picks 4 and 7, whether that be a trade, whether it be one of those 4 teams there. But he's not falling past 7, which is unbelievable to say, considering where we ended the season.
Interesting. Well,
I think that's a great recruiting pitch too, for Leonard Hamilton. That
you top 10
your
picks.
6th man, but your 6th man may go top 5.
Yeah, imagine recruiting a kid in his living room, going, "Hey, you want to play 25 minutes a game and be the 4th overall pick?" You know how easy that is?
Yeah, unfair. A little unfair. F you, Schlowski, whatever the hell his name is, that dude. He can go eat it. Never mind. I don't even know why I'm coming after. I don't even know why I'm coming after him. I just hate his face. He's ugly as a nose that I could hit the wall with right here. He's just so ugly, and I don't like him. I don't know why I came after him. I just thought I'd say something to him because he can F off. Keep going. Awesome. My bad.
And then to round out basketball, someone reached out on Twitter wanting to ask a question for the podcast. And we kind of talked about it earlier. But he says, since this year doesn't count towards eligibility and it's a free year, would a guy like MJ Walker come back, being that he's a 5-star but would have an NBA market? He's up in the air. It really depends how he plays this season. If he comes out and he averages 15 points a game, there's no reason for him to stick around for another year. If he comes out and averages like 10 to 11 points like he did last year, I think it wouldn't hurt him. But at that point, we were going back to like the same conversation we had with Terry. Does he really want to be a 24-year-old NBA rookie? I think a guy like Raekwon Evans would come back because another year of college basketball is not going to hurt him. and he's the kind of player we need. And same thing goes for a guy like.
Sorry, my bad.
No,
he was another player that was I thought was getting better as the season was going on.
Evans was really good from January on once he was fully recovered from that hamstring injury. And then same thing goes for a guy like Tanner Ngom, who's he's technically a senior, but another year of college development with a guy like Stan Jones, who's one of the best big men developers in college basketball, is not going to hurt him.
I love it. Sign me up. Is that the Twitter question?
Yeah, that was my Twitter question.
Beautiful. Yeah, I was thinking, we were talking about it in the production meeting before this, but we do plan on having a full-on basketball season preview, so we can actually dive into a lot of this and conversate and hopefully have on a guest or two to help us preview Florida State's big season ahead. Obviously got abruptly ended because of COVID-19 last season. So also, if you haven't even checked, Austin's been detailing it on here tonight, but definitely go check out NoleGameDay.com. Check the Twitter. Go to his Twitter too. His is down below in the description, but go check him out. There's tons of content already out and coming every week, getting prepared for the season. But like I said, we're going to try to do a podcast set alone on getting you ready for the season ahead for Leonard Hamilton and the Noles. Well, let's jump into it here. Carlos should have given us his score prediction. He should have given it during like that whole Marvin Wilson and Tamarion Terry segment. I think that would have been a good time to throw it in there, but we'll ask him what that's going to be. Florida State obviously is going to NC State at 7:30 p.m. 7:30 p.m. Oh God, I went there when I was little and went to a game there, and it was so terrible. I hate their fans. Their fan base is terrible.
I said this after we played basketball there.
You went to that 2012 game, didn't you?
I think I went like the 2 years before it, actually. I think. Yeah, it was 2 years before it. But they're still maybe
sure
they won.
They won and rally in 2010, I want to say.
Yeah. I don't know. I just remember walking out.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't. Christian Ponder fumbled. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Austin?
I said this after the basketball game this past season. For being consistently the third best team in the state, their fans are way too arrogant. They're the worst.
Yeah, they're annoying. They're just mean. I just remember being little and
they're the Miami fans of North Carolina.
Yeah. Except like at least Miami won games in the 80s. NC State doesn't even have that. What do they have?
They had that one tournament run.
In what, 83?
Well, you said Miami was winning in the 80s.
Yeah, but
Phillip Rivers.
Even Miami won a national championship in 2001. NC State's been crap for 35 years.
They have Phillip Rivers.
Who?
And his 18 kids.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, man. Y'all see Phillip Rivers falling, trying to, like, turn his body to tackle that pick six guy this last Sunday? Absolutely hilarious watching him fall down. Just somehow falls on his back trying to tackle somebody. Like, how do you do that? I can't believe. What are the Colts doing? Charleston is on our staff at All Game Day, and I just feel so bad for him because he's a Colts fan, and I can't really say too much on Twitter because he's fairly new to the staff, and I'm already toxic enough with being a Steelers fan right now, but there's so many things I would love to say to the Colts on how stupid and like they just don't want to win. They don't want to go to a postseason or do anything. They have a good defense right now, but you still have Phillip Rivers, who is barely an average quarterback right now. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand the Colts. That was a stupid decision. I'd rather have Brissett than Phillip Rivers. Sign me up. Put money down.
I mean,
they both played at NC State.
Yeah, but speaking of NFL, we didn't even touch on Dalvin Cook this week.
I know there was so much
200 plus yards. Yeah.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook is still the mean machine, Austin. I mean, that's your boy. It seems like he's going to be like how he was at Florida State, just leading his team to wins every Sunday now.
Yeah. I mean, I wish we weren't winning because I want a quarterback, but other than that, it's hard to complain.
Dalvin Cook's now in the MVP conversation, right?
I think we're too bad for him to be in the MVP conversation. If we make the playoffs, then yeah. But we're, 3-5 right now?
Mm-hmm. Mm. But, like, he should be in it. Just if the circumstances were better for him, then it's just kind of hurting him with the team that he's on. But I think he most certainly isn't. Who's like what's the MVP conversation right now? top 3?
Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes.
Aaron Rodgers.
Russell Wilson too, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that game this past week hurt him a lot.
Yeah.
In Buffalo.
We've got to see what Seahawks are doing. But yeah, let's jump into it. Former FSU quarterback Bailey Hockman will be the starter. He's going to try to get his revenge game on. Maybe the Florida State defensive line will show up like they did whenever he was in the game last season and try to get after him. We will see. Like we talked about earlier, noted on, Trevor Purdy is expected to be the starter. Jordan Travis has been very limited from practice, so hasn't barely participated really. Trevor Purdy is expected to get his first official start, a road game, 7:30, true freshman. What do you guys expect? And give me y'all's score predictions to end off this gigantic podcast that we've had tonight.
I expect a lot of bad. A lot of bad. Hopefully some good from Chuba. I just don't know with this receiving core. There's just too much lack of playmaking on the outside for me to think he's going to do extremely well. But no, hopefully he improves this week and he improves next week, and going into next season he's got some good tape to build upon.
What's your score? What do you?
Yeah, what's your score prediction?
What you thinking?
NC State 34, Florida State 17.
Okay.
So yeah, moving into this game, I don't trust Florida State's offensive line without Devontae Love-Taylor. Like Austin said, I don't trust the receivers to consistently make plays. I mean, we've seen what happens there. And then, the defense, do I need to say shit about them? God, it just sucks. Every Saturday watching them just suck the soul out of my body. Not the kind of soul sucker you want. But anyway, moving on to my score prediction. I think coming in this game, Bailey Hockman is really going to be looking for some revenge. Last season in Tallahassee, it felt like this game was a little bit personal for the Florida State defense. Hockman came in after an injury to NC State starting quarterback, and the defense just absolutely lit him up. They only got 2 sacks and 6 tackles for loss on the night, but it seemed like he took a lot of shots from a Florida State defense that wanted him to remember them after he transferred to NC State at the beginning of the 2018 season. And in this one, he's going to remember that. And this defense, they weren't good last year, and they're so much worse now. I think Hockman is probably going to light him up. So I'm going to go NC State 41, Florida State 20. Another blowout loss for the Seminoles, and a 3-game losing streak for the first time since 2018.
So nice to hear. Just hate that. So now, all right, 0-2 for all of us here on the show. Nate, go ahead.
So for Florida State to win, going in with a true freshman quarterback, I think they, what they've done the past few weeks, abandoning the run. I think they need to go full on, run 60 times a game. North Carolina State is really, really bad at stopping the run. So if they can somehow get some ability to move the ball up front without Love-Taylor, that game completely flipped on Florida State when he went out against a Pitt team that is, Steve from Unconquered Talk put out on Twitter. The Pitt rush defense this year is the 5th best rush defense of any team since 2012. So Florida State was having a lot of success running the ball against a really, 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 really good Pitt defense. At the same time, they went away from it. So, if FSU wants to win, they're going to have to run the ball 60 times for 350 yards, control the game, control the clock. Like they said, I just don't trust the defense. That's not saying that Hockman is a good quarterback by any means. I just don't think that this team is able to really stop anyone. They're still beat up on the back end. They're still missing their contributors at safety. I think that this team hasn't shown us anything that they can stop anyone. I got it 40 to 21. I got NC State winning.
So close, right there near Dustin's, literally. I think Dustin, what yours was 41
41-20.
20, yeah, 41-20. So you are right next to each other. That's crazy. That's what I said on the Mark Rodgers show. I think I said 41-21. I'm probably going to stick with it. Like Dustin said, this defense has not shown me anything. I mean, I know Marvin Wilson's not playing. He didn't play against Pittsburgh, but it's not really a major loss whatsoever. But I think, we keep on hearing about guys that are Hamza Najee. He's not playing this season. I don't. That's just been talk. That's another rant for another day. But this defense is just not going to be ready, I don't think, to play against a quarterback that would really like to get some revenge on him. I don't think Hawkman's special whatsoever, but with like we've seen this whole season, below average quarterbacks can look like Heisman contenders against Florida State's defense, this 2020 defense, and that's what I'm worried about seeing. 7:30 in a trash stadium. I'm sure they're going to have stands there. They have to. I mean, the trailer park's only about a mile away, so they'll make their way over and do their damage.
I think they're still at 0% capacity. I think.
Are they?
Yeah.
I want to say that there was people there for the Miami game, but
someone confirm that for me, so then I can.
I know Duke's still 0%, and NC State's 20 minutes down the road. I'd imagine they are as well.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, but offensively, true freshman come in. Trevor Purdy wasn't too impressed. I know, honestly, Pittsburgh's defensive line is one of the best in the country. Their defense is getting after the quarterback. Wasn't a fair take at all for him to go in there, and that's why they threw Blackman in there for the time. But Trevor Purdy will get his first start. I think it's just, even though NC State's defense isn't like Pittsburgh's, I still think it's going to be a rough game for Trevor Purdy. I like the idea that Nate said, run the damn ball. If it's working, keep running the ball. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. But we've been shown that once things go successful, for some reason they abruptly stop and we don't see it again. And I don't know what that is. That's what me and Nate talked about in the production meeting. Where does it go? What happens whenever you're finding success on the ground and then it immediately goes away? That's something that I'm worried is gonna happen.
It's play calling and the lack of playmakers making.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have the script working so well, and then things eventually even out, and players got to make plays, and Florida State doesn't have that right now.
Mm-hmm. So 41-21 for me, and yeah. Oh, guess who's up next after that one? I wonder which game that one is.
So Florida State could potentially be. Yeah, Florida State could potentially be looking at 4 straight losses. If they lose this game, it's going to be 4 straight losses. I mean, let's be realistic. They're not beating Clemson next week. Just real quick, I did find it. NC State had 4,000 fans in attendance last week, so the home field advantage is going to be rocking and rally. Watch out.
Did you say Raleigh or Raleigh?
I don't care.
It's Raleigh.
I know.
I don't really care.
You're right. I can't get on the Dustin like that. Usually I would for him saying
it's NC
things.
State. Who cares?
I can't get on to you. They have some bad fans. That's the nicest way I'll put it. Trailer park, trashy fans.
They probably call it Raleigh.
They probably do with their accents up there.
I lived in North Carolina for like 5.5 years, and
Sorry.
And North Carolina State fans North Carolina State fans are the biggest twats of I put them up there with Florida.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know everyone hates on Duke and their fans, but they're really respectable, especially basketball, because they actually know stuff.
And they're kind of entertaining.
Yeah, NC State, they're just trash.
Yep.
They're horrible. I hate them.
Yeah.
I've lived here for a year. I hate them.
And it's just gonna just feel so good watching them. I love how all of the college football games are getting canceled, they're getting postponed. So really at 7:30, what's going to be on? I mean, still the trashy ACC network, but still Florida State gets to play at Raleigh. And, Florida State, most likely, like we all predicted them to lose this game. And just watching their fan base, I don't know, I'm going to have to find a radio. I'm just going to have to find the radio, or probably my beer can's going to go through the 60-inch. So I just can't stand them whatsoever. So it should be really a fun experience, guys. I'm looking forward to it. Get your alcohol ready, listeners. Get your alcohol ready, and whatever just makes you feel better. And make you forget things. So
If I see any NC State fans on work on Saturday, I'm swinging on site. Just know.
Austin's gonna swing on site. That is how we're gonna end this podcast. We had a really eventful podcast. This was by far, man, what a pod, guys.
Been a little wild at the beginning. I was a little nervous we were gonna go off the rails, and I wasn't sure what was gonna happen. But
I was on mute for the first hour.
Somehow Nate and Carlos were able to get through it.
Hey.
You know, I'm proud of them for talking through their different ideas and trying to understand each other rather than just, screaming at each other and saying, "Shut up, fuck boy." But,
there you go. Yeah, no, there's no other podcast like there's no other show. So we're all family in the end. So it was a great one. Thanks, guys, so much for listening. You guys can listen to this on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so then you'll be notified every time we release a new episode. If you're on YouTube watching right now, we got a good amount of people watching this evening. Hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. Yeah, we got a lot of YouTube people. I had checked it out of nowhere. I was like, holy crap. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Definitely on iTunes too. Subscribe. And then if you want to leave a rating of 5 stars and leave a review, we would most certainly appreciate it and probably read it out.
Before we end, Dustin, please check the Hear the Spear sub or channel on the Discord.
Yeah, there's some. Oh my God, yeah. Should we?
I don't like the way that you guys are talking right now. How far do I need to scroll?
Don't need to scroll at all.
Oh, what the?
Oh man, yeah. If you're not in the Discord yet, DM one of us. We'll get you in there. You got to get in there. But yes, thank you guys so much for listening. This is us signing off. We will be there for the instant reaction between Florida State versus NC State. Enjoy y'all's weekend. Go Steelers. See you guys.
Ah, shit.